right. So it's going. It is. All right. Awesome. So what's going on, folks? Hello. Good evening or good afternoon, whenever you may be watching this. So we're back again. We're breaking down today, of course, FAMU, Mississippi Valley. Uh, Pretty interesting so far about FAMU, Mississippi Valley. So last week, FAMU a win over Alabama State, 23-10. Last week for Mississippi Valley, not as fortunate. A loss against NC Central. So not critical game today, but an interesting one today. One that FAMU has to come away with. I think that they should come away with as far as separating themselves in sitting at the front of the SWAC race and everything such as that. But we'll get into it today. We'll talk about it and everything. We'll talk about other scores as you see coming across the bottom line. Another key SWAC game that might be determining the SWAC West today, as well to players to watch, keys to victory, and everything such as that, and as well as score predictions for tonight's game and everything. Honestly, and also too, it's like if you've noticed, the games have been relatively not later, but some people have asked, why is this game being played at the time it's being played at, and I've said to them, like, this is what happens when you win. When you win, you get the primetime slot. Look at San Francisco, look at Kansas City, look at the teams that are consistent winners. Not to put you on the pedestal with the NFL, but it's like the teams that are consistent winners get put in prime time, or they get put on at later times. But also, too, this is Mississippi Valley's home opener. They get granted probably one late night game a year, so this is their late night game, so they lucked out. But with that being said, though, we're going to talk about it and stuff. We're going to roll this intro real quick. Also, too, so if you are watching, be sure, of course, leave a comment. And as well, if this is your first time to the page, or if you've been watching for a while with intrigue and debating if you want to subscribe to this channel or not, I suggest you go ahead and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Just stop the debate now. Go ahead and just do it. Just subscribe. Get it out the way. You're watching already as is. And it's likely you'll probably be back next week. And you'll probably be back for Ace's rant this Wednesday night. So just subscribe. Save us all the trouble. We appreciate it. We love you guys. But as well, also not stay safe, but get comfy. Intro's next. We're going to talk about it all. Well, I got my hair redone, so I feel wholesome again. I love it. Let's go. So, with that, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So, all right, well, that didn't pop up. Oh, well. So, that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So, the game, before we do talk about it, the game that I was mentioning earlier before we rolled the intro that might, and I do think will have an impact on the SWAC West, and who, if and when FAMU continues to run the table, that FAMU will likely run into in the SWAC championship, comes down to the State Fair Classic today out in Texas between Prairie View and Grambling. So I think whoever comes out of that end successful, I think, is in the driver's seat in the West, because Prairie View already took out Alcorn. I have a feeling Grambling might also do the same. And I do think that right now Grambling has the better team as we slowly inch closer and closer by the day to the Bayou Classic. So I think tonight in Dallas is a huge deal, and it's going to probably turn the tide of the SWAC West. And it's going to determine who's in the driver's seat. So that's also a game to keep an eye on. It actually kicks off at the same time as this one tonight between FAMU and Mississippi Valley. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So something that Willie Simmons said that was interesting this week in his early week press conference was, ball security is job security as well too. He stressed consistency. He said, we're not consistently matching the defense's energy on offense and special teams, which means, he sees it, we all feel it, and we all see we all have the same expectation. This offense and the special teams unit needs to match this defense. This defense has, outside of USF and outside of FBS competition, this defense has held teams to 10 points, one touchdown, not one extra point, but one 3-point try, which is phenomenal. You like to see that early on. I have a feeling that it will continue today. No team in the FCS or D2 has been able to score more than 10 on FAMU's defense. And judging from Mississippi Valley's offense, I say this, but hopefully it's not true. But, well, hopefully it does hold true. But it's like this Mississippi Valley offense, truthfully speaking, should not cross the 50 on you in the first half. And if they do, they should only come away with a field goal. There's no reason why you should not bully this team tonight. They're going to be amped up. They're going to be juiced up because they're finally playing at home. But you got to take this from them early to put them out their misery and do it early. Also, too, he did mention in the post game, in the locker room, in the video that was posted by FAMU's athletics page about how, he expects everyone to give FAMU their best shot. It's an old adage that, we even heard it from Joe Taylor back in 2011. The orange and green brings the best out of people, even the opposition. They're going to get up They're going to get up when they see FAMU come to town. You see it. I just don't like 3 road games back to back to back, having to wait a whole month for them. Yeah, it's the hand you've been dealt. It is the hand you've been dealt. And they structured it this way, I'm sure, because look, next year I'm assuming since there is going to be a trip to go to Prairie View next year, Texas Southern, I'm probably going to say like 40%. I'm sure Texas Southern will probably be the homecoming opponent next season. So yes, if Andrew Body gets his mental right and if he's okay by then, Andrew Body and Texas Southern will probably be coming to Bragg for homecoming next year. But it's one of those things where you've been dealt. It's like you got a bye week in between, so you're not exactly on the road and stuff. But 3 road games. This is the start of a month stretch where you're going to see Mississippi Valley, and then you're going to see Southern. But in between those two, you have a bye week, and then you come home. So you're playing a bottom feeder in the SWAC West and in the SWAC in general. And then after that, you're playing 3 teams that were top 3 in the West from a season ago. One of which you probably may end up seeing twice. And I think we all know which one it might be. So it's, championship mentalities come from playing on the road, things such as that. And you have to be a road warrior. When Bobby Bowden was building up Florida State, he took them on the road and showed what they can be and what they are. You got to be able to just go on the road and win games like this, because who knows? God forbid it happened, but, say you drop a game, which I don't think you will, but if you do, you're going to have to go on the road and secure a SWAC title. So this is what moments like this prepare you for. Now, the other thing that Willie Simmons said was, are we disciplined enough to allow our work ethic and attitude to match our expectation? Does our attitude and focus support that? That's the challenge this week. That's where the whole ball security is job security thing. that he iterated comes into play. Because last week your run game was lackluster, only getting 59 yards. You played, and Willie Simmons also did state too. You played the four most physical teams on regular season schedule: Jackson State, USF, West Florida, Alabama State. So I think realistically, starting now, although I'm not going to rule it out, that Southern game is going to be a physical knockdown, drag-out game. It's a rivalry. It always is. I expect it to be physical, especially going to Baton Rouge. And from what you saw last year, I expect it to still be physical again. So, yeah. Also, too, he also mentioned too, things got testy at the end of last week's game against Alabama State, but the officials let guys play, which explains why things got the way it did. As well as that, FAMU checks in this week, ranked 18th in the country according to the AFCA top 25 polls. They extended the home winning streak to 17 games. Last week, this team had 353 total yards of offense. So, heck, imagine if this offense catches wind and plays a complete 60 minutes. This is the first game for FAMU outside of the state of Florida this season so far. You were blessed to have the first 4 weeks at home because you played a game in Miami. You played a game in Tampa. You played 2 games in Bragg. You're finally leaving. Well, I don't want to say the great state because I know everybody's got varying opinions on it, but you're leaving the state of Florida for the first time. So, and that's another thing Willie Simmons mentioned. He's like, you're going somewhere where you're not going to have a DJ. You're going somewhere where you're not going to have a crowd in your favor, where it's probably not going to be a packed house, where it's going to be dark by the time they kick this ball off, I'm assuming. And you're going to have to create your own energy. You got to bring your own juice. So it's how do you adapt to the environment around you? And you're going to have to adapt quickly because emotions only last but so long. Also, too, Moose is spread around the wealth. Multiple wide receivers with 2 or more catches over 30 yards last week. Third straight game against an FCS or lesser competition where the defense held the opposition to 10 points, as already stated. Anthony Dunn, last I checked, is still currently 4th in the nation in sacks. The defense leads the SWAC in total defense. And as well, too, you held Alabama State to 14 rushing yards, which was very impressive. So this rush defense is still very stout, especially in the front 7. So as far as players to watch goes this week, Jeremy Musa, who's 25 of 40, don't like a quarterback throwing it that many times. 294 yards, 2 TDs. Jaquez 7 carries, 27 yards. He was your leading rusher. It needs to get better, but there's also a factor at that I'm going to explain in a second. Jamari Shareed, 4 receptions, 77 yards, 1 TD. Jamari Gassett, 4 receptions, 56 yards, 1 TD. Isaiah Major continues to prove why he is realistically the best, if not the best, one of the top 2 linebackers in the SWAC and likely in HBCU ball. 12 total tackles, 11 solo, 1 assist, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception for a TD where he basically dragged the man into the end zone. And also defensive tackle Gentle Hunt, 8 total tackles, 7 solo, 1 assist, 3.5 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble. Jordan Moore, 5 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 assist. And Alan Smith, who got the lone sack last week. So there needs to be more havoc created in the backfield as far as sacks. And I think Anthony Dunn and Alan Smith and company will generate that as well, too, as Gentle Hunt. So as far as, why is the running game not as potent as it's been? 59 yards as a total is not going to cut it. Injuries along the offensive line that Willie Simmons stated. You started camp with 19 to 20 guys, and you currently have 11 to 12 healthy guys right now. That's a huge key factor, but it also is a testament to the depth because it's like, thank God we have the quality depth because that would not be a good sign if we didn't. So 11 to 12 guys, I'll take that. That's perfect, especially at this time of the year. But it also means hopefully you get those guys that are injured, you get them back soon. Now, as far as injuries go, and I'll say this too, Willie Simmons did say expect another physical game. As far as injuries go, Marcus Riley, who will likely be a game time decision. Jeremiah Pruitt, ankle. It'll likely be a game time decision. TJ Lee, hand injury, likely a game time decision. Cardell Thomas, ankle, likely a game time decision. So, as Willie Simmons stated, we got some guys that are going to be touch and go. We'll figure out who can make the trip Friday morning. So yesterday, and that was from Gerald Thomas from Tallahassee Democrat. So, we're going to find out, who is able, or we'll find out here soon, who's able to make the trip, who did make the trip, who's out there starting. I'm wondering, where's Cesar Reyes? Because I don't think that he played last week. I also saw Eric Horn didn't play last week. So I'm hoping both those guys are able to come back from injuries here soon as well, too. Also stated, Willie Simmons stated as well, it's vital to get treatment, eat right, and lift in order to continue to develop and maintain your body. Much needed sustainability, which that is a fact. As it just doesn't stop when, okay, season's here, we don't really have to be in the weight room. It's like, no, you got to still lift and sustain because you're going to stay on blows. Lifting weights prevents injury. Eating right, fuel on the body to prevent injuries and for you to maintain yourself and continuously put on more muscle. And also to development, how you practice, scout team giving you the right look, things such as that. So honestly, and I stated this too, I know some people are going to feel differently about it because Marcus Riley is dealing with a hamstring injury. I was someone that came out and said, maybe it's a good idea to possibly hold him this week because you do play Southern next week in Baton Rouge. Again, and if you feel differently, you can chime in and pitch in. But it's like, why risk injury? Definitely let him, heal up, do what he needs to do. You got Chris Reed, you got Kareem Burke, you have Jamari Gassett, you have David Manigo, you got Nick Dixon, you have a plethora of weapons still at your disposal. You have Kamari Young and Kobe Gross at tight end. It's like, let those guys do what they do and let the offense still work. The offense is still going to be functioning. Oh, also, too, Jamari Shareed. Duh. How can I forget that one? But it's like you still have all these weapons on offense. Let this offense still function. It'll be all right. Let Marcus Riley rest up. You let him get ready for Southern because it's like if you constantly are getting him to like irritate that hamstring and stuff, it can nag for the whole season. So it's like catch it now, give him the rest he needs, let him be ready to roll the next week. So again, that's just me. I know some people may feel differently. It's like, oh, you know what? Just throw him out there, let him go. But again, that's just me. And honestly, it's like I feel like you can win without him this week or tonight. Next week, I would play him because you're going to need him against Southern. You're going to need him against Texas Southern. You're going to need him against Prairie View. All coming up back-to-back weeks. So you're going to need as many people healthy as possible. Hopefully you can get, of those 19 to 20 offensive linemen that you started camp with, hopefully you can get some of those injured guys back as well. So, yeah, that being said, so as far as questions goes, definitely, is this the day the defense pitches its first shutout? Quite possibly. I would think so because, again, you're going against a Mississippi Valley team that only averages 10 points a game. I think you got a shot. Nick Dixon didn't make the trip. Oh, man. Okay. Well, jeez. Even still, if you're without Marcus Riley or Nick Dixon, I think you would still be okay. Again, like I said, Jamari Shareed, Jamari Gassett, Kareem Burke, Chris Reed, David Manigo, Kamari Young. If Jeremiah Pruitt's able to go, you have another tight end there. And then Kobe Gross. Like, you still have weapons. You still got weapons. So even if you're down two guys, I think you can get out of here with an easy win. Plus, maybe there's some young person waiting in the wings that wants an opportunity. If you give them that opportunity, you can seize the moment. This for a young player, I'm hoping I made the trip for this one because this is a team that you should be able to make a highlight tape off of. You should be. Will you? I don't know, but you should be able to. This is about as golden of an opportunity as it comes for a young guy. Yeah, I was going to say Young might be used more. Yeah, no, he's already Moose's favorite as far as checkdowns and stuff off of little like play action RPO reads and stuff. So I think Kamari Young would be very useful. I'd like to see Kobe Gross get some looks, and also even to Leland Woolhoit. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm pulling for him to get some playtime too. I thought for sure he should have he and Leland Woolhoit should be two guys that I feel should definitely get more playing time. Because Leland Woolhoit, I feel like, is one of the more versatile backs slash receivers, kind of like a Chris Rainey type from University of Florida that you can like line up at running back and run the screens with, or you can line him up in the slot and just let him go crazy. So it's like you have other weapons in depth. It's just a matter of, do they know the plays and do they know the assignment and can they execute it when they actually get in the game? But I'm definitely pulling for Kareem Burke after, what we saw when he got playtime against West Florida. I hope he can get playtime today. I'm hoping he does. So, yeah. Also, too, why is it important to respect Mississippi Valley? It's goes back to, again, what Willie Simmons said. It takes a different level of toughness and grit to play at a school like Valley. They have the heart to overcome the deficiencies that they have. That's a very true fact, because it's like if you look at Valley, it's like you're like, geez, dude, like how in the world, how? It looks, hate to be disrespectful like this, but it's like when I look at Valley, I see a team with a stadium that looks like a high school stadium, and it looks like some little league stadiums. But I hate to be disrespectful like that, but it's the truth. But it's like Willie Simmons said, you have to have a different type of level of toughness and grit. So I would respect Valley coming into this. You respect your enemies. Don't underestimate them. How does the mental toughness and maturity prepare you to go on the road for a month? Again, this is a testament to being a more mentally tough team, having a more eye discipline and just overall discipline in general. Because it's a tough ask to get 18 to 23-year-olds, maybe even 24-year-olds to stay disciplined for a month away from home. No DJ, maybe I think the 100's going to Houston for the Texas Southern game, as I've heard, and I'm pretty sure they're probably going to Baton Rouge. So it's like, you have to have maturity, you have to have mental toughness if you're going to play on the road for pretty much a month. And if you do that, it shows championship form. And hopefully we see them hit their stride and play a complete 60 minutes in this time span. Also, too, who is the alpha on this defense? I'm going to go ahead and say Isaiah Major. That's your alpha. That's your defensive team captain. That's your voice on this defense. So it's like it went from, Marquise Bell in 2021 to realistically last year, not entirely being too sure. And then this year you see it, well, I guess last year too, in bits and pieces, it was Isaiah Major, but even now more so it's Isaiah Major, who's like the leader on this defense. No Baton Rouge trip. Really? Oh, man. Well, you know what? It makes sense because it's like Southern didn't bring their band last year, so I guess I understand 100 not going to Baton Rouge. Plus, it's like from what I heard, not, don't quote me on it, but it's like I heard that 100 had things thrown at them and things said to them and stuff, and it was just an overall nasty experience going to Baton Rouge, which that's not the first time I've ever heard that either. I've heard that from, the days of Dr. Foster. I've heard that from the days of Dr. White. So it's like, if they're not going back, I understand. Some people don't. Some people just don't know how to act. Supposedly they are going to Alabama, and that would be good. That's good, actually. I actually do. I like that because I like that the band is doing like these little week before the Florida Classic road trips and stuff, or not week before because they play Lincoln. But I do like that they are going, because that's 2 weeks before the Classic. I do, and a week before the final home game. So I do like that they are going to make a trip to Huntsville. That's good. Okay, awesome. So take away the Baton Rouge trip, and make up for it with the Huntsville trip. Makes sense. Plus, Alabama A&M, I think, is a tougher fish to fry right now in the SWAC, so it makes sense. As well, too, should we expect another tough physical game? Look, Willie Simmons said expect tough games. So I'm just telling you now, for those of you that like to pour yourself a nice little drink, get one handy. Get your wine ready. Get whatever you need to steady your nerves. Do what you got to do. So if this gets close, just be ready. Just be ready for a dogfight. I expect a blowout, but be ready for a dogfight. My score prediction is still set to be a blowout, but again, it might be a dogfight. Not 100% sure. You're going to get everybody's best shot between now and the end. Just be ready. Now for Mississippi Valley, last week they lost 45-3 to North Carolina Central. Davius Richard didn't even play. They averaged, again, like I said, 10 points a game, according to ESPN. Maldonado, who played decent amount in their game against Central State week 1, he's more of he likes quick developing passes, so he will definitely check it down quickly. He'll also he loves to hit curl routes. He loves to find guys in space. He's more of their passer. Williams, number 15, he's more of their runner, and even if you look at his stats, or not even really much of a runner, because he had negative 12 yards rushing last week against NC Central, which is pitiful. But, he's not their pure passer. He has yet to Tajarian Williams has yet to even throw a touchdown pass for Mississippi Valley, which is the truth. Also, Team Mississippi Valley, they will show 2 different looks on defense, 4-2-5, which seems to be the common trend. They also will show a 3-3-5. If you watched their game against Central State, which is the only one I was able to actually see, they had some critical drops in that tight game against Central State. It was, they had chances where they were able to capitalize and they just couldn't execute. Again, another team that lacks the mental toughness to close out games, which is even more pitiful because Central State shouldn't have even been in that game with them. But, everybody's trying to find a win somewhere. This is also Mississippi Valley's first conference game, and it's also their home opener tonight. So they are going to be a little bit juiced up tonight. They're going to be excited. It's going to probably be a little bit more people. Claude and his counterpart will probably likely be calling this game because this game is on Mississippi Valley's YouTube channel. So expect 2 old men that sound like they're playing chess to be talking about this game tonight. So just be ready because they're probably going to bore you to sleep, or they might create some laughs for us. Who knows? They also do have a tendency to put the ball in harm's way. So when they do pass it, it's up for grabs. So the secondary should have a field day. Isaiah Major should, y'all know it's true because it's again, Claude and Ray. I'm just being. I don't think that's really their names, but it's those 2 guys. If you watch this game in 2021, you knew it's my God, dude. It's this 2 old men that are just trying to put you to sleep. And I'm they couldn't find anybody else to do this. Not Keith Miles, but Albert Chester and what's his name? Not Bryant Gumbel. That's not his name. But the other guy that does FAMU games with Albert Chester, you got they couldn't make the trip and be in the booth for this or something. Come on. I'd rather just watch this game on mute than listen to 2 old guys that sound like they've been sitting on the porch all day. Come on. I know. It's just ugh. Also, too, last week against NC Central, 327 total yards of total offense. 210, well, that's what NC Central gained. 210 passing, 117 rushing. Davius Richard didn't even play for NC Central last week. In that game, Walker Harris threw 5 TD passes. So NC Central's backup shredded this. They shredded them, pretty much saying. I'm hoping for plenty of cursing tonight. Do they even curse? Like, will they even curse? Is the thing. It's like it's just two old men. Like I don't even know if they even know how to curse. They just ooh and ah like how old men do. I mean, I hate to compare to movies, but it's like I don't know if you've ever seen I don't know if y'all have ever seen what's it called, Medea's Family Reunion. I don't watch Tyler Perry movies much anymore, but it's like when I was a kid, I used to. I was like, I don't know if y'all remember watching that when it's like all the old guys were like literally salivating over the one young girl that reached in the cooler with her ass hanging out and stuff. Like that's what those two announcers remind me of. Two old men literally just salivating over some young chick. They did in 21. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I thought so. Also, oh no, my mistake. They had 327 yards of total offense, but they surrendered 416 total yards of total offense to NC Central. So 263 yards passing, 263 yards rushing. Oh, it was pretty balanced. Okay. Yeah, no, it was balanced. Interesting. 9 penalties for 92 yards last week. As far as players to watch, it's pretty much, Tygerian Williams, 11 of 22 last week, 81 passing yards. He had 9 carries for negative 12 yards. Again, their starting quarterback, if it is Tygerian Williams, he has yet to throw a passing touchdown. If it is Maldonado, he is the better passer of the two, in my opinion. Also, to running back Jared Wilson, 12 carries, 80 yards. They do seem to rely more heavily on their rushing attack. Wide receiver Malik Antwine, 5 receptions, 44 yards. Linebacker Aaron Webb, 10 total tackles, 4 assists, 6 solo. Defensive lineman Blakely Anthony, 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 2 assists, 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass breakups last week, and their loss to NC Central. And then, oh no, he's not a defensive lineman, but also defensive back Christian Fagan, 5 total tackles, 1 solo, 4 assists. And also, if this was based off of watching the Central State game, one thing I noticed is, they will send their defensive back number 28, Chase Alexander, on a corner blitz in key situations. So if you get this to a 3rd and short situation, or if you get it to like the money down, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 2, maybe even like a 3rd and 10, expect Chase Alexander or some defensive back to come off that edge. So it's just something to be mindful of. So I'm sure Musa will probably notice it, and he'll probably check to protection and stuff, and likely have Jaquezziant or Terrell Jennings or Kelvin Dean pick up Chase Alexander coming off the edge, or whichever defensive back is coming off the edge on a corner blitz, maybe on a 2nd or 3rd down package. So for Valley, the questions are as follows. Why is this oddly a tough road trip? Something Willie Simmons iterated was, it's the drive-in. There's no hotels to really stay in. The team had to stay in Jackson, Mississippi before traveling to Itabena. It's relatively boring. Again, like I stated, it's a football stadium that, in my opinion, looks like a high school stadium. It's, to me, it doesn't look like one of the best playing surfaces. You already underestimate this team because they're already 0-3. They, in my opinion, they don't seem that challenging. So there's a lot of factors that add to it that can create you just coming into this game lackadaisical and thinking like, oh, okay, well, you know what? We got it. No worries. It's fine. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a dogfight, which I think is something that took FAMU by surprise in 2021 that I'm sure that Willie Simmons and the staff remembers, and they will try to do and allow to happen the complete opposite tonight. What does Valley do right? Honestly, I couldn't tell you, because it seems like they can't do much of anything right. It seems like they can't find anything living. They can't find anything dead. But, the one positive to take away is 12 carries for 80 yards by their running back, Jarrett Wilson. So, I guess you can say that, at least they try to somewhat run the ball successfully. But, again, we'll see. It's actually crazy. I'm trying to find so much bright spots to talk about with Mississippi Valley, more than the last 4 teams. Are they lacking mental toughness that you normally see in good football teams? They are, very much. How questionable is their offensive line? I don't think it's the best. Anthony Dunn and company should have a field day tonight, regardless of who's in there at quarterback, whether it's Maldonado or Tajarian Williams. You should have a field day. This defensive front should be eating. Everybody should at least get one sack. Gentle Hunt should get a sack. Isaiah Major coming on a linebacker blitz. Johnny Chaney should have a sack or two. Literally everyone should have a sack. Honestly, I think even Eric Smith coming off the edge should get a sack or a strip fumble, and someone should score off of it. So I'm hoping to see a defensive touchdown of some sort tonight. So, of course, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into keys to victory for tonight. So, key to victory number one is, impose your will along the offensive and defensive line, make Mississippi Valley quit early, and show your domination. And then, even in the second half, too, don't come out flat, because a team like this, you let them find a way back into the game, they will. So I think you got to cut the head off early in a game like this. You bury teams like this. Key to victory number two, let Musa cook, because if the SWAC's leading passer starts to cook, it opens up the rushing attack. It causes them to, back up and pull out into coverage. And when they do that, let your running backs, let Yanton and Jennings and Dean go crazy. Let them go. As well, too, key to victory number three, create havoc in the secondary. So if you create havoc in the secondary, that leads to turnovers. Like I said, they will put the ball in some dangerous spots. Maldonado loves the quick release. Hopefully, if you anticipate it and play it right, or even still one of these wide receivers runs the wrong route, you should get a turnover, score. Or also, too, like I stated a few seconds ago, Eric Smith or some defensive back, bring him off the edge, force a fumble of some sort, or just, get sacks. You have to create havoc tonight in the secondary. And with that, and also, too, feel free to drop your score predictions in the comment section down below. Also, too, some of y'all mentioned them on social media. So tonight, I'm going to go with this one as follows. I've been thinking this for a while, probably realistically since Thursday night, on Running Gun Podcast. I'm going to go FAMU 38, Mississippi Valley 3. I think this will be FAMU's best defensive performance yet. I think that, of course, I think Moose is going to cook, but the offensive line, despite, being short a couple guys and having now 11 to 12 guys along the offensive line, I think this is a game where you impose your will and you dominate, you lean on Mississippi Valley, and you wear them out, you make them tired, and they quit. So, and also, too, this is a first-year head coach for Mississippi Valley, because Vincent Dancy's gone to Colorado and joined Dion. So I think you're catching him at the perfect time. The only thing is, I think, time zone may play a factor. That's probably the only reason. But, getting there leaving Friday, and, well, who knows? We'll see. But, I don't think time zone should really play a factor. But, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I think FAMU's going to win this one tonight, 38-3. And then with that, you move forward and start getting ready for Southern next week and a trip to Baton Rouge. So, yeah. That being said, folks, like I said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you've been watching, again, jokingly said it, if you've been watching with interest but haven't subscribed yet, I'm like, you might as well just go ahead and subscribe. You're going to come on back after the game, and we're going to talk about it, and talk about what went right, what went wrong, and then, you're going to probably tune into the Run Gun Podcast had its season finale this past Thursday night, but it's like you're going to tune in to Ace's little rant and stuff Wednesday or Thursday night with Sasser and Chad and stuff. So might as well come on, subscribe. The other thing, too, is also, before I do get out of here, Power 5 and SWAC Power Rankings via Chad coming soon, starting on Monday. So I know that's something that a lot of people are looking forward to, because some people make power rankings for the SWAC and don't know what the hell they're doing. Some people make power rankings for the SWAC and they do know what they're doing. So definitely, tune into that. That's something that's something new that we're doing, that we're gonna try out and stuff. So yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'll be back after the game and everything. We'll be talking about, what went right, what went wrong, and everything such as that. Uh, who did what, who impressed, who didn't, and the road ahead. Looking forward to Baton Rouge after tonight and stuff. So yeah. So with that being said, if you are in need of being in tonight, stay safe and everything. Be safe getting back to your hotel, which is probably in Jackson if you did make the trip, as well. But yeah, stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you.